This is Stars and Scopes with your pal Uma Ruby. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, do listen to your rising sign first if you know it, but do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're loving this work and you've got some coins to spare, throw them in the tin over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and you can buy me a coffee. Okay, let's drop into it. Hello, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Welcome to your reading for the full moon in Sagittarius, happening on June the 14th at 9:52 p.m. if you're using Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you're listening on Spotify, I have a added visual component this time around. To celebrate Pride Month, I have come as the fixed star Algol. It's a long story. Anyway, I'm only learning about that now, so I don't have the knowledge just yet to be an expert in Algol. I do know that she was beautiful, and I do know that she was a survivor of abuse, and I do know that her hair was turned into snakes and eventually her head cut off. Interesting thing when some of these myths, because that's what we use in astrology. We use mythology. We use it's the language of the ancients. They had a lot to say, and they had a lot that was maybe either misheard or we have the opportunity to reimagine and to go over and to, everything's about context, isn't it? All of this stuff is about, time and space. What does this mythology mean to us as a consciousness now? Anyway, I'm not even wearing any snakes. I don't know why I said that. I actually was trying to channel Julia Roberts or Sandra Bullock. Very little to do with Medusa. Did either of them play her? It doesn't matter. Anyway, look, back to your reading. A full moon in the first house. This is beautiful, great, bountiful release for you. This is going to be a moment to really take to yourself, I think, Sagittarius. This is going to be a really great time to draw a bath, to step away from the crowd, and to let go of anything that's impeding your vision as to how beautiful you are. If you've been feeling a bit lackluster or a bit down in the dumps or a bit lost on a spiritual level or just, on a day-to-day level, let Luna fill you up. Let her light beam right back into you and take this moment. This is the, the school formal for Sagittarius. For one, party of one. Anyway, there's a couple of difficult aspects in the sky that I wanted to talk about straight away, and then we'll get into intuitive tarot and we'll see what Spirit wants to say to you now. But the cards are quite, gorgeously succinct. I'm looking at esoteric astrology and the system that the Golden Dawn constructed. Pamela Colman Smith actually drew from this school of teaching. Every tarot card has a decan in the zodiac, so there's a card for everything in the sky as well as a planet. So where the moon is at 23 degrees of Sagittarius right now, we have the Ten of Wands, which is a card of exhaustion. It's a card of fizzing to a slow stop, of having no energy left and kind of just feeling done in a lot of ways. When this comes to soul work, this is exhausting. Sorry, darling, I really feel you. If that's how you're feeling, and you're completely entitled to feel that way. It happens to everybody, and that's not to discount your experience, but just to let you know that you're not a failure in any sense. Like if this full moon is just you having a bath and closing the door, do that, and you've done well. There's that. The sun is over here in Gemini and is beaming its light back to the moon. That's creating our lovely full moon. The tarot card for 23 degrees in Gemini is the Ten of Swords, which is a much more severe energy. It does talk about anxiety. It talks about too many thought forms getting in the way and kind of creating a space of ruin. I trust that if this is what you're experiencing, that you've got access to the appropriate spaces to get some clarity and some traction on this. I would like to think that there is something about this energy informing this energy and being released back to the moon. So in terms of cycles and in terms of any sort of mental anguish that might be going on, excuse me, you can maybe visualize and work with this card in terms of sending it right back to the moon. You know, like the sun's coming up in the Ten of Swords card. You can't see it here, but the Ten of Swords is the sun in Gemini. That's the specific decan for this space. So that's the end of a cycle, and that is release. That's what happens at the end of a cycle. So this is a nice moment for some soul mapping for you, Sag, and to really let go of anything that's hurting you and not serving your greater benefit mentally. Okay, they're the two cards for the sun and the moon. Now, there is difficult energy happening here. So the sun, the moon, they're in a T-square again, this time with Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's normally sort of quite jubilant. Neptune is like the magician in a lot of ways, the illusionist. There's a great mystery and mastery with Neptune. I've talked about Neptune quite a lot this year because it's been in Pisces and been having a great time and having some beautiful aspects and couplings with all the different planets and creating some really great possibility for us all. To be in a difficult aspect is sort of to be in a low vibration. So if we think about what is a low, what's a low vibe magician? It's someone who's quite deluded, or someone who's pulling the wool over your eyes. It's a bit of a showman in some way. So Pisces is your fourth house, which is home and roots and stability and privacy. So this is interesting. I wonder if there's a sense of the truth being revealed at home that you were not expecting or you weren't quite privy to, that has maybe led you to this space of soul searching. I wonder if there was an idea of home that you had in your head as the place to be, or as the ideal, that is fastly proven itself to be not true in some ways. I say that because the tarot card for 25 degrees of Pisces is the Ten of Cups, and this is another ending of a cycle, but this is emotional. So this is sort of like the image here. It's the Lord of perfected success, it says. And so the sentiment for the Ten of Cups is the movie, the credits just about to roll on the end of the movie, and the loving couple are arm in arm, and the kids and the dog are at their feet, and the vista is before them, and they've got nothing to do but sort of stare and marvel at how successful their love affair and family is. Like, that's delusion. You know, I've said that in a lot of different readings, particularly with this house structure, but like, that's delusion. We don't need that to be impeding our soul purpose and our sense of self. If there's been some comings and goings at home, or some shortcomings, some disappointments there, like Ten of Cups in this space is delusion. So don't let it get you down. Don't let this energy make you feel like a failure in any way, because you're not. You're a human being. You're doing the best you can. There's some positive stuff going on in the sky as well. So quickly, the moon is in a trine, which is a harmonious fire relationship with Mars in Aries. So there's that sort of passion warrior energy that's there. So we can use that with this moon. You can throw it back to her if you want to, or you can use this passion to stoke your fire again, your sense of self. The sun is in positive aspect, funnily enough, with Saturn, who's been quite difficult to us this last bit of time, but this time has formed a positive trine again. So air and air, mentality is happening there with the sun. So there is a particular rule book or a way of doing things that is really in benefit. Boundaries here, actually. Saturn, boundaries. Boundaries will do you well, my Sagittarius friend, in terms of the home and in terms of yourself. What are the boundaries you set for yourself? What won't you allow from yourself? What sort of negative talk or shitty behaviors, or what is, yeah, what you need to have boundaries with yourself and protect that little inner child of yours, because you can't be cruel to yourself forevermore, because that's abuse. And you can't be in an abusive relationship with yourself. Interesting. All right, let's pull some intuitive tarot, and then I'm going to call it a night. Okay, so Spirit, what does Sagittarius need on this beautiful full lunation in their first house, their sense of soul and self and purpose? What can you tell them that is going to support them and help them through this lunation and for the year ahead? Let's really use, excuse me, let's really, my voice is going, that's enough. What can we use this full moon? What can this start us off? What cycle are we starting? It's a New Year's Eve party for one, or like, yeah, I said that about new moons, but a full moon can be that too, in terms of getting off our back, in terms of releasing. What can you tell me, Spirit? Oh, lovely. Okay. I've got the High Priestess. And I got the Six of Pentacles. Good to start. Affirming. And I got the freaking Ten of Cups again. So, reading these energies together, I'm getting a real sense that you really are knowing, things are twigging for you in this reading. You know what I'm talking about here in some aspects. There is a great sense that I get from you that you've been really gregarious and generous with your home and with your, you know, with your what you've accrued in this life. You've been very generous with your possessions and with your you know, finances, or just even holding space. You've been really, you energetically have been very giving, ATM. And let's work with that delusion of the happy home, happy life, happy love. Let's work with this, and let's reinstill some boundaries around the home and around who you let in and around who has access to that private world for you. It's very important for a Sagittarius to have a home that is their space. You know, it's the Pisces rules your fourth, so it's really about, you know, intuition and going with your own flow, really using that space. That's the space where you can create too in the home. So what energy is flowing through there, and what needs a tweak, and what boundaries with that Saturn energy can we instill to protect yours and those you love? That's your reading, Sag. Love you. Happy Pride. This is great to have a full moon in your first house during Pride season. If you're LGBTQIA, I was going to say or A. I was once told that, oh, the other A stands for ally, because that, and I was like, no, I don't think it does. But that's a story for another time. It was a queer organization that told me this too. They were being highly, highly inclusive of everyone they possibly could. There is no A in LGBTQIA for ally. There, I've said it. All right, take care. I love you. But you can still celebrate Pride if you're an ally. You can absolutely can. I might cut this bit out, or I may not. We'll see. What do you think, Sag? You can still celebrate Pride if you're an ally. Absolutely, that's what it's for. It's for us all to celebrate. The experience, the queer experience, is specific to the LGBTQIA experience. The oppression attached to that is a very lived experience that we are fighting to surmount and get through. I don't know if that's pertinent for you, Sag. If not, skip on over. Much love to you. Please head over to my website if you wanted a personal reading. I've just put up a whole new selection of readings that work with the elementals and work with some of the major arcana guides to journey us through reading your birth chart. Also, you can tip me if you'd like at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby. Other than that, I'll see you in 2 weeks at the new moon in Cancer for some beautiful, heart-led, homey, loving, emotional manifestation. What can we call in to our heart space? We'll do that in 2 weeks. Much love. Take care. Bye.